Hey there, friend. I want to ask you something. Have you ever noticed that your bones don't feel quite as strong as they used to? Maybe you've started feeling a little more fragile, or you've heard friends talk about their bone density scans with concern. Well, I've got some good news for you today. There's a natural, powerful way to support your bones, and it doesn't involve medication. Let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, my neighbor Martha came over looking frustrated. She'd been doing everything she thought was right, taking calcium pills, walking daily, and avoiding falls, but her doctors still told her her bones were weakening. "What am I missing?" she asked. After digging into what she was eating, moving, and hydrating, we found the root cause. And once she made a few small changes, her next scan showed real improvement. That's the power of understanding what truly supports bone health. And today, I want to share that with you. Because here's the truth. Weak bones aren't an unavoidable part of aging. They're often the result of habits we can change. Things like nutrition, movement, hydration, and even mindset. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what those habits are and how to adjust them to protect your strength, independence, and vitality. Let's dive in. The first thing we need to talk about, the biggest, most overlooked cause of bone loss in seniors, is not enough calcium and vitamin D from whole foods. Now, I know what you might be thinking. I take a calcium supplement every day. But here's the catch. Supplements alone aren't enough. In fact, studies show that calcium from food is absorbed better by the body, and when paired with vitamin D, it becomes even more effective at building and maintaining bone strength. Let me explain. Calcium isn't just about bones. It's essential for muscle function, heart health, and nerve signaling. But without enough vitamin D, your body can't absorb calcium properly. That's why sunlight matters. Just 15 minutes of sun exposure a day helps your body produce vitamin D naturally. One woman I spoke to, Ruth, used to rely on calcium tablets, but still had weak bones. Her doctor suggested she start getting both nutrients from food and sunlight. She added sardines, leafy greens, and fortified oat milk to her diet, and took short walks outside each morning. Within 6 months, her bone density improved. She said, "I didn't realize how much my body needed real food over pills." So what can you do? Start by incorporating calcium-rich foods like broccoli, kale, almonds, and yogurt into your meals. Pair them with vitamin D sources like fatty fish, eggs, or a bit of sunshine each day. And here's a tip. Avoid high-dose calcium supplements unless recommended by your doctor. They can actually harm your heart if taken in excess. Now, moving on to the second point, and this one might surprise you, it's lack of weight-bearing movement. Yes, exercise. Now, I know what you might be thinking. I'm not young anymore. I don't want to overdo it. But here's the thing. Gentle, weight-bearing movement is essential for maintaining bone strength because when you move, your bones respond by staying strong. When you sit too much, they start to weaken. Let me share a quick example. My friend George, who's 72, told me he stopped walking regularly because his knees hurt. Within a year, he noticed he felt more fragile. When he started doing light resistance exercises, like walking, standing leg lifts, or using light weights, he said he felt more stable and confident. He said, "I didn't realize my bones needed movement to stay strong." So what counts as weight-bearing exercise? Anything where your body works against gravity. Walking, gardening, stair climbing, tai chi, or even standing up and sitting down from a chair repeatedly. The key is consistency, not intensity. Even 10 minutes a day can make a difference. And here's a bonus. Movement also improves balance and coordination, which lowers your risk of falls, the real danger when bones are weak. Now, before we continue, let me quickly recap what we've covered so far. We started by looking at calcium and vitamin D, and how real food and sunlight are more effective than supplements alone. Then we discussed the importance of weight-bearing movement, even small amounts, to keep bones strong and reduce fall risk. Each of these ideas is simple yet powerful, and the best part? You don't need to overhaul your routine overnight to benefit. In the next part, we'll explore the third and fourth causes, things like dehydration and poor protein intake, and how adjusting these can dramatically improve your bone health. Because the goal isn't just to prevent fractures, it's to live with strength, confidence, and freedom for years to come. So, stick with me. We've got more to cover. All right, friend. In the last part, we talked about calcium and vitamin D from whole foods and the importance of weight-bearing movement for strong bones. And I hope you're starting to see how small changes, like adding leafy greens to your meals or taking a short walk each day, can make a big difference in how your body feels. Now let's move on to the third cause of weak bones, and this one might surprise you. It's dehydration. Yes, water. You've probably heard how important hydration is for energy, skin health, and digestion. But did you know it also plays a role in bone strength? When you're dehydrated, your body struggles to absorb nutrients like calcium properly. And without enough water, your joints and bones don't get the lubrication they need to stay strong and flexible. Let me tell you about a woman named Evelyn I met at a senior wellness fair. She used to drink coffee and tea all day, but rarely touched water. She told me her bones felt brittle and she often had joint pain. After her doctor explained how dehydration was affecting her ops, she started drinking more water and noticed a real improvement within weeks. She said, "I didn't realize my body needed so much fluid." So, what can you do? Aim for at least 6 to 8 glasses of water daily. If plain water feels boring, try adding a slice of lemon, cucumber, or mint for flavor. Herbal teas, like ginger or peppermint, also count toward your hydration goals. And here's a tip: carry a water bottle with you throughout the day to remind yourself to sip consistently. Now, moving on to the fourth point, and this one ties back to what we've already covered: poor protein intake. You see, protein isn't just for building muscle, it's also essential for bone health. Strong bones require collagen, which is made from amino acids found in protein-rich foods. But here's the catch: not all proteins are created equal. Animal proteins like meat and dairy can be inflammatory in large amounts, while plant-based proteins like beans, lentils, and nuts offer anti-inflammatory benefits. The key is balance. One man I spoke to, Frank, used to eat mostly red meat and cheese. His doctor told him his bones were weakening, so he switched to a mix of lean proteins, grilled chicken, salmon, and even a few servings of tofu weekly. Within months, he felt stronger and more confident on his feet. He told me, "I didn't realize how much my diet was affecting my bones." So, what can you do? Include a variety of protein sources in your meals. Lean meats, chicken, turkey, fatty fish, salmon or sardines, legumes, lentils, chickpeas, nuts and seeds like almonds, chia seeds, and eggs and dairy in moderation. And here's a bonus: avoid excessive alcohol and caffeine, as they can leach calcium from your bones over time. Now, before we wrap up in the final part, let me quickly recap what we've covered so far. We started by looking at calcium and vitamin D, explaining why real food and sunlight beat supplements alone. Then we discussed the importance of weight-bearing movement to keep bones strong and reduce fall risk. Next, we explored hydration, showing how water supports nutrient absorption and joint health. And finally, we touched on protein intake, highlighting the balance between animal and plant-based sources. Each of these ideas builds on the last, creating a foundation for stronger bones. But here's the best part: none of this requires drastic changes. It's about making thoughtful choices, whether it's adding a glass of water to your morning routine or swapping out one meal a week for a protein-rich alternative. In the next and final part, we'll cover the fifth and most overlooked cause of weak bones, and it's something you might not expect. We'll also share how to put all these habits together for lasting bone health, because the goal isn't just to prevent fractures, it's to live with strength, confidence, and freedom for years to come. So stick with me, we're almost there. All right, friend, we've already covered 4 key causes of weak bones: lack of calcium and vitamin D from whole foods, insufficient weight-bearing movement, dehydration, and poor protein intake. And I hope you're starting to see how deeply connected your daily habits are to your bone health. Now let's talk about the 5th and final cause, and this one might sound surprising. It's chronic inflammation from processed foods. Yes, what you eat every day plays a huge role in supporting your bones. But here's the catch. Some foods labeled healthy can actually harm bone density by fueling inflammation in the body. You see, inflammation isn't always bad. It's your body's natural response to injury or infection. But when it becomes chronic, like from a diet high in refined sugars, processed oils, or excess salt, it starts breaking down tissues, including bones. Over time, this can lead to weaker bones and higher fracture risk. Let me tell you about a man named George I met at a wellness fair. He used to eat a lot of packaged snacks, thinking they were convenient and harmless. But after switching to anti-inflammatory foods like leafy greens, fatty fish, and turmeric, he noticed his joint pain eased, and his next bone scan showed improvement. He said, "I didn't realize my diet was working against me." So what can you do? Focus on anti-inflammatory foods to support your bones. Leafy greens, spinach, kale for calcium and magnesium, fatty fish, salmon, sardines for omega-3s, ginger and turmeric for natural inflammation-fighting compounds, and nuts and seeds like almonds and chia for healthy fats and minerals. And here's a tip: limit sugary snacks, processed meats, and foods high in refined vegetable oils like corn or sunflower oil. These can trigger inflammation and weaken bones over time. Now, before we wrap up, let's quickly recap everything we've covered so far. We started by looking at calcium and vitamin D, explaining why real food and sunlight beat supplements alone. Then we discussed the importance of weight-bearing movement to keep bones strong and reduce fall risk. Next, we explored hydration, showing how water supports nutrient absorption and joint health. And we touched on protein intake, highlighting the balance between animal and plant-based sources. Finally, we wrapped up with anti-inflammatory foods that protect bones by reducing systemic stress on the body. Each of these ideas works together to create a powerful foundation for bone health. But here's the best part. None of this requires drastic changes. It's about making thoughtful choices. Whether it's adding a handful of spinach to your morning smoothie, taking short walks, or swapping processed snacks for nuts and seeds. Because the goal isn't just to prevent fractures, it's to live with strength, confidence, and freedom for years to come. If you've been dismissing bone health as just part of getting older, I want to remind you that your body is still capable of healing. It just needs the right support. So here's what I encourage you to do. Start with one small step. Maybe drink an extra glass of water today, or add a serving of leafy greens to your dinner. Pay attention to how your body feels. Are your joints left stiff? Do you feel more stable on your feet? Small shifts matter. And most importantly, talk to your doctor about your bone health. They can help rule out other causes and guide you towards safe, effective changes. Because here's the truth. Aging doesn't have to mean fragility. With the right habits, you can protect your bones, stay active, and enjoy life on your own terms. If you found this helpful, and I hope you did, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you never miss another tip to help you live your best life after 60. And if you've noticed improvements in your bone health from dietary or lifestyle changes, I'd love to hear about it. Drop a comment below and share your experience. Your story might inspire someone else to take action. Thank you so much for being here today. Take care of yourself, stay curious, and keep making choices that honor your body and your well-being. Until next time, stay strong, stay balanced, and live your best life.